SpaceX's second Starship is almost ready to take off after the first launch took place just a few days ago. As we're all aware, Elon Musk's SpaceX took its most daring leap yet with a round-the-world test flight of its mammoth Starship. As planned, no one was hurt in the unmanned test that lifted off from Texas's coast on Thursday morning. After classifying Thursday's mission as a success, the SpaceX team is ready for the next flight in the coming months. Watch this video till the very end to find out more about what happened and what's next for the space engineering company. SpaceX's Starship rocket burst minutes after taking off from a launch pad in South Texas on Thursday. The most powerful rocket ever built missed orbit. But it taught the private spaceflight company valuable lessons as it prepared for a more productive trip. The Super Heavy booster's engines ignited at 9:33 a.m. Eastern Time, creating a massive cloud of fire, smoke, and dust as Starship began to gently ascend. After about a minute, the rocket went through a vital point for the launch of any rocket, the period of maximum aerodynamic pressure. Soon after, it started to fall before going off in a flash over the Gulf of Mexico. Despite the mission's fiery outcome, Bill Nelson, the NASA administrator, offered congratulations to the company. Every great achievement throughout history has demanded some level of calculated risk, because with great risk comes great reward, Mr. Nelson wrote on Twitter. For its Artemis 3 mission, the space agency is counting on SpaceX to construct a variant of Starship that will carry 2 humans from lunar orbit to the moon's surface. The flight, which had been postponed since Monday, was eagerly anticipated because of the enormous rocket's potential to send a large number of people and a lot of goods into space in the future. Elon Musk, the company's founder, had tempered expectations before the launch, which had no passengers aboard and was intended to verify if the design of the rocket system is sound. He warned that it might take more than one attempt for Starship to complete this test flight. Prior to the launch, the Tesla and SpaceX CEO had regulated his expectations. He declared that a win would be defined as just getting the vehicle off the ground without wrecking the launchpad infrastructure. The billionaire CEO's request was fulfilled. Starship accelerated as it left its launchpad near the US-Mexico border and headed for the Gulf of Mexico. But after about a minute, it became clear that things were not proceeding as planned. As the rocket rose higher and higher, 6 of the 33 engines at the vehicle's base were shut off or flamed out. Within 3 minutes, it was very clear that the flight was coming to an end. The 2 halves of the rocket were still attached when they should have been apart, deviating from the planned path. A massive explosion tore across the clear sky at launch plus 4 minutes, while Starship was losing altitude as a result of computers activating the vehicle's Flight Termination System, or FTS. It's no secret that the largest rocket ever created began to lose control after a few minutes into the flight, and it was quickly destroyed by onboard charges. But it did fly for a good 4 minutes and was well clear of the launch pad, marking a number of significant firsts for the mission. Engineers are now able to understand how the vehicle operated thanks to the vast amount of information that the brief flight produced. It may look that way to some people, but it's not a failure, said Daniel Dumbacher, Executive Director of the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics and a former high-level NASA official. It's a learning experience. Engineers with SpaceX consider Thursday's flight a success. They enjoy testing early and often, and have no problem breaking stuff. A significant amount of data has been acquired to prepare for the upcoming flight. Another Starship is almost prepared to take off as well. Congrats at SpaceX team on an exciting test launch of Starship. Learned a lot for the next test launch in a few months, Elon Musk tweeted. With a test like this, success comes from what we learn, and we learned a tremendous amount about the vehicle and ground systems today that will help us improve on future flights of Starship, SpaceX said in a statement. You'd be surprised to know that although the upper portion of Starship, often known as the ship, has previously flown on quick hops, this was the first time it had also launched with its lower stage. Known only as Super Heavy, this enormous booster was launched in February while firmly fastened to its launch platform. At that particular moment, the cluster of engines was only running at half their potential. The stage should have produced around to 70 meganewtons if SpaceX had, as promised, attempted 90% thrust on Thursday. The Saturn V rocket, famed for launching men to the moon in the 1960s and 1970s, produced twice as much thrust as that. Starship may not have destroyed its launch pad, but later pictures indicated the forceful departure had done a fair amount of damage to concrete surfaces. The Federal Aviation Administration, which licenses rocket launchers in the US, said it would oversee a mishap investigation. A spokesman said this was standard practice when a vehicle was lost in flight. The mission was supposed to send a spacecraft on one almost full orbit of the planet, with a splashdown in the Pacific Ocean a few hundred kilometers north of Hawaii. Neither the ship nor Super Heavy were anticipated to be found. Long term, nevertheless, this is the strategy. The plan is to repeatedly land both halves, refuel them, and launch them again. If done well, this will change everything. The potential payload performance of Starship to orbit is greater than 100 tons per flight. This should pave the way for an exciting future when combined with the cheap operating costs, which primarily consist of the cost of fuel. In the industry, there's certainly a very high expectation at the potential of this vehicle for disruption, said space consultant Carissa Bryce Christensen. Its massive capacity, from a commercial standpoint, could be significant. A very large vehicle that's human-rated could be important for the emergence of space tourism. The other element is the vehicle being inexpensive. So you've got a vehicle with two transformational aspects: massive capacity and, potentially, at a very low price. The CEO of Bryce Tech told BBC News, for the time being, his company will employ Starship to put thousands more satellites into orbit for his broadband internet constellation via Starlink. Furthermore, people won't be allowed to travel on the rocket until engineers are certain of its dependability. The initial mission is already scheduled. Jared Isaacman, a multi-billionaire US businessman and experienced fast jet pilot, will command it, as he has already taken a SpaceX Dragon capsule into space. Additionally, Yusaku Mizawa, a billionaire in Japanese retail fashion, will make the first orbit of the moon. As part of his Dear Moon project, he will bring 8 artists with him. NASA also plans to land its astronauts on the moon using a Starship-like craft. Starship's builders will still need to work out the other aspect of their groundbreaking strategy, getting all parts of the spacecraft on the ground safely so they can be reused even if they succeed in mastering the going up portion of spaceflight on their next attempt. Elon Musk, the company's founder, said the next test flight won't be for several months. If SpaceX sticks to the same timetable as Thursday's test, the next test mission won't involve a Super Heavy rocket or Starship vehicle landing attempt. Well, that's all we have for you today, folks. Do you think Elon Musk and his company SpaceX would be successful in what they wish to achieve? Make sure to enlighten us with your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Will Elon's dreams of inhabiting Mars and visiting outer space conveniently become a reality someday? Would this test launch lead to something revolutionary? Guess we'll have to wait and find out. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. As always, I'll catch you in the next video.